Hello, ladies.
Hi.
You're not registered. You're gonna need to go to the helpline.
Who was supposed to register us? Can you sort it, please? And where's Derek?
Hey, Dick. Hi.
Alan!
Adam.
It's Richard now.
Oh,
Alan and
Adam?
used to work for me until he ran off to start his own company, taking two of my best engineers with him.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
There you are, Derek. Where's the, Okay. Always one more. You don't need any of this stuff?
Oh, it's a lot of sharding layer. No, I don't need all the baggage. I actually built our startup on MongoDB.
That NoSQL toy? Why on earth would you need TangleDB?
It's MongoDB.
Okay, well, I guess it's okay for a little startup like yours.
Well, actually, not so little. We just reached 1 million active users.
1 million?
Yeah.
On that niche database?
MongoDB's used by like 70% of the Fortune 500.
70%.
Yeah, it's been nice not juggling all these bolt-ons and extensions.
Well, we've always done it that way. Relational databases have been around forever.
Well, Dick, it might be time to start thinking outside the bolt-on box. I mean, you could take a 10-hour Uber ride here, but why would you when you can fly?
I could have flown here.
There's always more than one way to get to the same destination. Okay.
Tell me more about MongoDB.
Bongos are an African Cuban percussion instrument. Would you like to hear more?
I got him.
Okay.
Why is Derek wet?
Please welcome Frank Liu and Apoorva Joshi.
In the video, you heard that Adam built his business on MongoDB. But before he did that, he started in the same place as all builders, with an idea. And that blank page immediately brings up two very real questions. What am I going to build, and how am I going to bring this amazing idea to life?
In fact, Frank and I also faced this exact same blank page when we started working on this presentation. We wondered, what could we build that could show you how MongoDB supports all your ideas and all in one place, especially those AI projects you've been dreaming about. Ultimately, we decided to build something that many of us in this room may find useful, an application designed to make developers more productive. I mean, we'll take all the help we can get, am I right?
Look, man, you don't have to tell me. My productivity has absolutely tanked. Instead of writing code or training models, our CEO, CJ, he keeps having us modify the script for this keynote, so for what that's worth.
So we took our idea and built the first version of our product.
So first, we'll show you what this app looks like. And then we'll look under the hood to demonstrate how we created this using MongoDB. Should we show them our MVP?
Let's do it. All right. OK, so in this first version, we wanted to accomplish two things. One, allow developers to create and brainstorm projects with an AI assistant. And two, allow them to search through past projects and get inspiration for what they're currently working on. So I'm going to start by creating a new project. Name it Agentic Search. Type very carefully. And come in here and I say, I want to build an agentic search system. Now, once I do that, I can start having a back and forth conversation with this assistant, which is essentially an LLM, until we come up with a well-scoped plan for how to go about this project. Now, tomorrow, say I'm building yet another AI agent. You know it's going to happen, right? I can first search through my past projects to see if there's something similar that I worked on that can help me out right now. So say I'm now working on a deep research agent. Notice that it pulls up projects that are semantically related to what I'm searching for and not just exact keyword matches.
For folks in the audience who aren't familiar, semantic search here is valuable because it looks for meaning rather than exact matches to keywords or to phrases. Now this way, we can find relevant projects even if we don't remember exactly how we described them. Cool. So that's the front end. Should we take a look at its code for some key features as well?
Hell yeah. All right, so we want our assistant to have real brainstorming sessions with its users, right? Just like they would with their teammates and colleagues. So the first thing we do is store conversational history in MongoDB. So each time the LLM responds to the user, it first retrieves conversation history up until that point. Then once the LLM is done responding, we save the current user message and also the LLM's response back to MongoDB. For the search functionality, we perform a vector search across projects, but that's happening here. But vector search filtered by the user ID to only search through the current user's projects. We then sort them by decreasing order of relevance and return the top 5 most relevant projects. And as you can see, all of this happens in a single aggregation pipeline.
Now, vector, full text, hybrid search, and even graph lookups are all a part of MongoDB's aggregation framework, which Apoorva is using here. And in particular, filtered vector searches give MongoDB a critical accuracy advantage over stuff like Postgres. MongoDB filters the projects by user ID first, and then performs a vector search, making it far more likely to hit those relevant projects inside of the filtered set. Now, Postgres, on the other hand, will run vector search first before filtering, which means that you might miss relevant past projects in your search results. So with this capability, you can confidently apply filters such as business logic, user permissions, time ranges, and much more directly to your vector search. For embedding the messages, we're using our latest embedding model, and that is Voyage 4, which Apoorva is highlighting for you here. And as CJ mentioned a little bit earlier, all of Voyage's models are now in public preview directly inside of your MongoDB Atlas cluster.
Very cool. Oh, while we are here, I wanted to show you one more thing. MongoDB's MCP server. It integrates directly into your favorite IDEs, giving you all the benefits of developing with a Copilot. So I've enabled it in my VS Code here, so I can now use the GitHub Copilot agent to run commands against my cluster, and also get inline AI suggestions as I'm building my applications.
So what we've created at this point is a fairly basic MVP of our application, but nobody really stops building once that MVP is complete. People are using your application, you're getting feedback on it, you want to iterate, and iterate quickly at that. Now, MongoDB makes all of this manageable because your data model and your queries don't have to change every single time your application evolves. So let's imagine we want to take our app to a second version and build in even more functionality.
Right. So in V2, we added 3 new things. First, we wanted users to be able to ingest images in addition to text. Second, we wanted them to be able to search across mixed data types, in our case, text and images. And third, we wanted the assistant to extract memories from conversations and proactively use them to personalize user interactions. And if you're new to the concept of memories, don't worry about it. I'm going to talk more about it in just a second.
So just like with V1, we'll show you how the app experience has evolved, and then we'll show you the code underneath.
Right. So as before, I'm going to start by creating a new project. Once again, Agentic search. But this time, instead of using text, I'm going to use an image. So let's say I just wrapped up a meeting with my team where we discussed the architecture of this new system we want to build. I can simply take a screenshot of my virtual whiteboard and drop that into my project. Now, this is happening live, folks, so let's give Claude a second to churn through this. But same as before, I can keep going back and forth with the assistant on my project plan. But this time, once I'm happy with the plan we've come up with, I'm going to hit the Save button. And that's going to trigger the memory extraction. Now, you might be wondering, where am I going with this? But just bear with me for just a little bit. So tomorrow, say I create a new project. I'm working on a deep research agent. Come in here and say, I want to build a deep research agent. Now let it do its thing, finish responding, and then we'll see if it used any memories from the previous project to inform this project plan. All right, let's see what it came up with. So it looks like it's remembering some of my past preferences from my previous projects. So for example, it remembers the fact that I've used MongoDB Atlas before for vector search. It remembers that I like to use Claude as my preferred LLM provider, and so on. So hopefully you're starting to see where I'm going with this whole thing around memories. And while we are here, let's also take a look at the project search functionality in V2. So say I'm now building a RAG chatbot. In V2, our app can search through multimodal entries. And we've done this by swapping out the text embedding model from our MVP with Voyage's latest multimodal embedding model.
So let's talk a little bit about what's happening behind the scenes, starting with the multimodal capabilities that we just added. Now with MongoDB, layering in image or even video understanding doesn't require you to introduce a separate component to your stack. All of this can be done with the newly released Voyage Multimodal 3.5, which, like Voyage 4, is now also available in your MongoDB Atlas cluster. Now, if this sounds interesting to you, my good friend Ken will be doing a Getting Started with Voyage talk using Voyage Multimodal 3.5 at the Builder stage right after this session here.
Nice. I know where I'm headed after this session. All right, now let's take a look at the memory component. I've been talking so much about it. So memory is a key requirement if you're building long-running multi-agent systems. Memory is what allows these systems to maintain context, so things like user profiles, preferences, and past actions across conversations. So in the case of our app, we are extracting two types of memories. First, any technical preferences that the user mentions. And this falls under semantic memory, a type of memory that deals with facts, concepts, and relationships. I'm also extracting implementation details. And this falls under procedural memory, which helps the assistant build an understanding of how to solve a particular problem. So in this version of the app, whenever the assistant is responding to the user, in addition to retrieving conversation history, it also retrieves any user preferences or implementation details, aka memories, from past projects to inform the current project's direction.
Now, MongoDB's flexible data model is ideal for handling different types of memories with different data schemas. And the search and re-ranking capabilities in MongoDB ensure that only the most relevant memories are pulled into the LLM's context window.
And as we move from idea to V1 and then V2 of the app, we didn't have to think about our data layer, really. We were just iterating and building. MongoDB let us evolve this app without breaking or rebuilding what we started with. Let me show you how. So what you're looking at is my MongoDB Atlas cluster. So first things first, this is where you can get that Voyage AI API key from, right within your cluster. And then if you look at the data model, I needed just 3 collections to power 2 versions of my app, possibly even more in the future. But how would that happen? So let's look at my messages collection. And notice this version field here. This is MongoDB's schema versioning pattern. So when we went from V1 to V2, all we had to do was set this field from 1 to 2, and we were able to continue using the same collection as we went from version 1 to 2 of the app. Also, because arrays are a native data type in MongoDB, all I needed to make the messages and memories collection searchable using vector search was to add this embedding field right here. I didn't have to create any additional collections or perform complex lookups or joins in order to make this happen.
So we've gone from an idea to an MVP, and then layered in multimodal and memory capabilities, all without re-architecting anything. Now that same flexibility doesn't just stop at V2. Let's say we wanted to take this app to a V3 and beyond. The core capabilities that we need are all still available within MongoDB. Dynamic schema to support the evolving data storage requirements needed by different agents. Embedding models to search and retrieve agent memories by semantics. Multiple search techniques supported by a single unified query API. A powerful re-ranker to ensure that each agent gets only the relevant context without introducing context rot. And an MCP server to ensure that these agents are able to autonomously leverage all of these tools directly inside of your application. Now, if you're using a relational database like Postgres, Bringing all of this together in practice gets very complicated very quickly, just like in the video, where the luggage cart is overflowing with bolt-ons.
And honestly, as a builder, you just want to start building. And all of this is friction that slows you down. But with MongoDB, on the other hand, you've been in one seamless environment from the very beginning. No add-ons necessary.
If there is one thing that Apoorva and I want you to take away, it's that MongoDB is the data platform that lets you bring your ideas to life and focus on what matters to you the most, building your product. But what happens when your user base starts growing rapidly, you raise more funding, or you want to scale your application? Now, just as MongoDB has the features you need at the early stages of development, you'll also find that MongoDB will be a trusted, solid foundation that supports you as you scale. Let's take a look.
Hey. Ooh, never enough table, huh?
Right? Did you push that security patch?
Didn't you?
Guys, nobody cares about security.
How dare you?
I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about... Dagnabbit.
I got you. There you go. Solid foundation. Just like MongoDB gives to developers.
Why does everybody love that database so much?
Why? Well, I'll tell you. MongoDB is quite revealing, a database that has no ceiling. MongoDB, sing it with me. MongoDB will set you free. Wow. It would make a good musical.
Of course it would. Yes, it would. Sweetheart.
I don't know about that part, but MongoDB is just developer friendly, whether you're building a prototype or enterprise ready.
Scalable, durable, available.
Cutting edge, built-in security.
I don't want to talk about security. Great, critical.
Yeah, because without a solid foundation, nothing else matters.
It really works as a musical.
Is he wearing tap shoes the whole...
Yes.